everybody is here to teach us lessons and to learn. Don't be scared of learning a lesson from somebody. That's going to be my main thing. Don't be scared of learning a lesson because you grow from that. So I was like, bet, we fight wars every day living on this planet. You know what I'm saying? Whether you're, black, right, whatever. Like there's, we fighting wars. So how can I present this as the highest form of appreciation? When you're dealing with family and friends, I always tell people if they don't have the same goals or the same mind frame as you, if they like, I think I'm amazing and great. So anybody that comes across my path, I think you're amazing and great too. Because you wouldn't be able to stand next to me. You wouldn't be able to be around me. I wouldn't even allow it. So I think that if a lot of people don't feel that way about themselves, and when you open up your energy to everybody and you let people get next to you who don't have the same goals, don't have the same, they can't see that in you. You become nothing. You become how they feel about themselves.
Hello, everyone. This is Pam, the Café con Pam, the bilingual podcast that features Latine and people of the global majority who break barriers, change lives, and make the world a better place. Welcome to episode 375 of Café con Pam. Today, we have a conversation with Chef Key Locke. Chef Key is a seasoned and innovative vegan chef renowned for crafting delectable plant-based creations that redefine culinary boundaries. Chef Key's travels throughout her childhood immersed her into different cultures throughout California. Living in cities such as Carson, Compton, Cudahy, LA, Montebello, the Valley, and San Diego, St. Clair Shores, Detroit Metro Cities, Pontiac, Michigan, and more, hints to her inspirations and all time favorite cuisines very similar to any culture's modern street foods. Listeners, this conversation with Chef Key was a lot of fun. I think she is one that this story is a great one for those of you who may have a lot of ideas, who may have a lot of things that you want to do, and you're kind of like not sure because the world tells you you need to do one thing. Chef Key, through her story, we're going to hear how she's been able to create multiple businesses, truly bring in different sources of income and make them happen. And I think you're going to leave inspired if you are one of those people that may have an idea or a couple of them, and you may think, well, it's not going to work, or you may have some doubts, or maybe I keep hearing this week I've heard a lot of there's already too many of XYZ. And so I think when you listen to Chef Key, you'll get inspired to remind yourself that if you have this idea in your heart and your gut and whatever part of your body is kind of like tugging at you and nudging you, and you keep waking up in the middle of the night thinking about it, it's because it's for you to take it. I truly believe there isn't one person that's the same. And so no matter if you have an idea that's been created 47,000 times, you still can make it yours through your own story. Y bueno, sin más, here's my conversation with Chef Key Locke. Chef Key, welcome to Café con Pam.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, anytime. So the first question that we always ask is, what is your heritage?
I'm a little bit of everything, but mostly I'll say black. We do have some Indian and Irish, and then my dad has some Creole. So big old mutt, which is French and black. My mom's black, Indian, Irish, all mixed up.
For sure. And are you originally from San Diego?
I am not. I'm originally from Los Angeles. I was born in Culver City, but my father's side of the family are all from San Diego.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
And were they always here? Did they migrate from a different place, given your heritage?
You know what? I'm sure I need to do some digging and really go talk to some people, but I know a lot of them were in the like my grandfather is Irish. So I don't even know like his people. He passed away not too long ago. That's something I do want to go talk to them and figure out like who are all our family,
For sure.
But a lot of them came from like the South. the Midwest, like Alabama, Texas.
Okay. And made it to the West Coast.
Made it to the West Coast.
So, talk to me about food. How did this happen? Were you always into it?
You know what? It's so crazy because growing up, like, you couldn't catch me in the kitchen. Like, I hated washing dishes. I hated things like onions and peppers and garlic. I used to be extremely allergic to garlic. I don't know how that just passed over.
Wow.
Yes, but I was not that girl. Like, I would pick the onions and stuff out of food. So
Oh,
it's really crazy how I transitioned just into becoming older and then finding out about food and the different consistencies. If you grill the onion, it's not going to be crunchy and have that strong bite. But I would say mostly throughout my relationships, I dated like early on. I dated men that had kids. So what do you do with kids? You feed them,
you
right?
feed them.
So like that was a lot of my journeys, and then just going from there, like each relationship, like I would find myself like at home a lot and cooking. Like I would watch Emerald or Rachel Ray, and I'd be like, oh, I'm gonna mix those together. I'm gonna make something. So it just really began like my journey was through my relationships. Yeah, with cooking.
Mm, it's very fascinating. And so, did you go like eventually? Did you go to school to learn about food, or was it just like?
I started, but I did not finish. Like a lot of things I do. I did started. I study at Le Cordon Bleu, which no longer exists.
Yeah.
In California. Well, it doesn't exist in California. I believe it's still in France and in Canada. But yeah, I started there. I did not finish. However, I did go on to work in different restaurants as sous chef, prep cooks, and different things like that. So I kind of got my started there, but I got my branding like on the spot, like working.
Well, we'll talk about Phat Vgan, but how did that name come about? Tell me about that name.
You know what is so funny? I never told my cousin this either. So I had a cousin who, you just have one of those cousins who's always talking mess, always got something to say. And when I first became vegan, I had some health issues. I had a pituitary adenoma. I had like blood clots. It was just a lot going on with my bodies. And then I ended up having to take steroids for the
Oh my
pituitary
god.
adenoma because of the radiation and different things like that. So in that process with the steroids, I got extremely big, like over 200 pounds. So when everybody would see me, they'd be like, gee, so that I was like, okay, I'm going to go vegan. So that was like my process of starting going vegan, vegetarian. So whenever I would come around, they would my one cousin would get so mad because I didn't want to eat the meat. Because she'd be like, well, I made greens. And I'd be like, but you put
Bacon in it.
yeah, she's like, you look like you need to eat it. Like she would just always say something like, "Mad, like how you gonna be mad at me because I don't want to eat the stuff with meat juice?" Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's crazy. So
Yeah.
I remember one day she was like a vegan. She was like, "You sure it's a fat vegan?" And I was like, and I remember I had went back because I was visiting, and when I had flew back home to Michigan, I was like, I told my boyfriend at the time, I was like, yeah, I was like, this heifer, I was like, she always got something to say. I was like, she gonna call me talking about you fat. You sure it's fat to be a vegan. I said, you know what? I said, that's about to be my company, Phat Vgan. I said, this gonna be PHAT because I'm pretty hot and tempting. So
Wow.
that was literally like we were sitting in a car and I just came up with it just like that. I guess she kind of did, but I took something from it.
Yeah. Her talking crap like came through with the name.
Right?
But you said you went home to Michigan, so you haven't always been in California.
No, I haven't always been in California. I moved to Michigan twice. I wanted to go to college there. That didn't work out, MSU. But I went, think about 2002. I moved there. And then I moved away in 2007. Got a boyfriend. Moved to another state. And then I came back in 2012 and then left in 2020.
Did that journey inform your relationship with food or even like the thought of starting a business?
Most definitely. So Michigan is where I opened up my first business. I had a record store and community space called Lyrics on Vinyl. So in the record store, we would do like Taco Tuesdays because that was like a California thing. And
Right.
so I was like, I'm gonna bring that here. Like, no, people were like Taco Tuesdays, what is that? So it ended up being like a really big thing. My record store was called Lyrics on Vinyl, and the initials were LOV, love. So we would do like love tacos, love making beats, love poetry. And then I was approached by the mayor, and she wanted to give me an award for bridging a gap through the city. When I got that award, it was another company called the Menagerie Kitchen, which was like a pop-up kitchen. They got the award as well. We got to talking, and they were like, why don't you bring your Taco Tuesdays to the restaurant and make it a thing versus just doing it? Because I could only do it from tips because it was for the nonprofit.
Oh,
I couldn't like open and say, oh, it's a
right.
restaurant. So I ended up going to there, did my first pop-up, started doing Taco Tuesdays there, and really got into the scene. Now, the interesting thing was I was not vegan when I first moved there. So that transition happened with me going into vegan. And then also the food, my boyfriend at the time was completely vegan. I'm vegetarian. So I would get so tired of making two different meals all the time,
Right.
like two lasagnas, two pizzas. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to figure out how to make this taste just as good, like all the way around. So that was again relationship journey with food, and then now transitioning into vegan food and the vegan chef. That's where that began. A lot.
Yeah. So your decision to go vegan was health related.
Definitely. Yes, it was definitely health related.
And did this person that you were with at the time who was vegan, did they influence your decision? Like what was there a conversation that was like, "Well, have you thought about removing animal products?"
Actually, no. When I met him, I was vegetarian. I'll say that. I would go
Mm.
back and forth. A couple of days out the month, I would do some cheese and sour cream here and there. But for the most part, I wasn't eating no meat when I met him. No fish, no nothing. So I would say more just the cheese. I was able to cut out the cheese because I'm like, vegan cheese is horrible, disgusting,
Yeah.
and then making completely vegan, so that was, yeah.
So you started developing these I guess meals because you were cooking for both of you. Then
Yes.
Taco Tuesday happened. What happened to the record store, to the vinyl store?
So, okay, 2012, opened the record store. 2014, I got a bigger space and venue, and I moved down the street and ended up putting a studio inside. And we did like so many things there. Like we would have the police come in there and meet with the community because it was a lot of the time when Black Lives Matter was happening. And I felt like, if the police know the kids, they're not going to shoot them. They're
Totally.
going to like, go get little Charlie Daddy. I'm about to tell, you know what I'm saying? Or they going to spank them themselves.
Right.
How we grew up back in the day. So I would do those kind of different things. I think just wanting to come back home and do it back home, I was like, all right, it's kind of time to end this now, and come back home. So in 2020, I say 2019, I shut down the Lyrics on Vinyl, started doing more of my pop-up scene, and then I moved to back to California in 2020.
It was coming back home, but was there ever like, "Ooh, I'm gonna close this business that I built and it's done so much for the community." Did the people actually were they like, "Oh, don't do it." How did that go?
Yes, but it was crazy because so me being from California and starting something in a new area, it was like love and hate. It was like, who was this girl coming in here doing this? And then it was like, nobody's doing this. So basically, what happened was like towards the end, like people started copying. They started doing
Mm.
exactly what I was doing. So I was the hub, I was
You
the start
inspired
of
them.
it. I inspired them, yes. And then later, they started getting together with their community who they felt like they were, they started just kind of opening up very similar businesses. So, I started it,
Yeah.
inspired. And now it's so crazy because because I was in downtown Pontiac starting. Now that whole area is like all that. It's all open mics. It's all poetry. It's all, so I'm like, yo,
That's awesome.
right?
You planted a seed.
Planted the seed. Yes, it was the first record store I think in over 30 years that have been there downtown
Wow.
in that area. Yeah.
That's wild. So, walk us through your journey because you said you went there to go to college, didn't end up working out, and then the culinary school. So, what was it that you decided I'm just gonna not do this and then start my business?
So there's like two different whole lives, right, that I had in Michigan. Because I had the, when I was young, 19, 20, like first getting there, wanting to go to school, there, different things like that. And then I wasn't really too much into cooking and stuff at that time. I would say between like 2000 to 2008 to even 2010, I wasn't in that, cooking thing didn't happen to 2012. So before that, I was more so like trying to be a wife, family. So I was just cooking at the house, like just having
Mhm.
fun and, just infatuated with the food and doing things like that. But it didn't really become business until 2012 when I came back, and I don't even, it was something. I just was like, I want to open a record store. Like literally. Like it just came to me. I was like, I love records and I wanted to be everything that I want. I love music and I just wanted to bring a piece of California to Michigan. Yeah, so that it started later. The beginning was boyfriend, kids, moving around, and then when I came back in 2012 was when I was like, yeah, I want to do the business. I don't know what inspired me. I just it just popped in my head and I did it.
Got the idea. So, do you ever feel because I think your story might inspire a lot of people that have ideas and they get stuck in the idea. And you also we'll talk about what you do now, but you also run multiple arms of your business. And
Yes.
so, like, they're connected, but they are different in their own way. And so, how do you overcome if you have any like self-doubt of like, oh, I'm going to start a new thing and will it work out, or do you just like get the idea and you run with it because you know and trust that it's going to work out?
You know what? Yes and no. So I had to learn that I would get these ideas and then I wouldn't act on them. And then I would see somebody else doing it and it'll be major and
Mm,
big. And I would be like, oh, I had that idea. Like, that was for me. Then I learned, like, everybody, like, the ideas are in the universe. Like,
yes.
if you happen to get it first, you better grab it. Because if you don't do
Yes.
nothing with it, that energy is going to transfer to the next. So I just started feeling like I was kind of connected to the source. And when I got an idea, I was like, you know what? I need to do that. Like, I feel it. And I just followed it. And I mean, it's a lot of downfalls and stuff, but I just feel like I just got to keep going. I don't know what it is. It's like, I know it's going to be great. You know what I'm saying? I know it's going to work out to be amazing. So I don't know. It's just optimistic, very optimistic.
Totally. And so you come back to California and it's pre-pandemic times, but it's very close to.
It was right in the during the pandemic.
Yeah. And so how do you decide I'm going to do this when the world is shutting down?
You know what? I think the optimism, I never seen that as, I don't know, I never seen the world shutting down. Even though people were walking around with masks, even though they were saying like all this is happening, and I mean technically it was shut down. I just never seen that. I seen a lot of companies like, oh, go out of business, but I'm like, this is just for right now. This is just to get us some money real quick. Like I that never was in my brain like, oh, it's over, it's shutting down. It was like, ooh, I can sit back here and get some ideas. And when everybody's ready to pop out, I'm going to be ready because they've been sitting in the house and I'm getting all these ideas together. But I never stopped, even during the pandemic, because I do boat tours and stuff. I have a company,
Mhm.
Soul Excursions. I'm also a boat captain. So even doing that, I was still doing that. People still wanted to come on the boats. That wasn't shut down. Um, so just, and then meal preps, that was like a big thing. People loved meal preps. So when I came back here, that was like my bread and butter was meal preps during the pandemic. Like, because don't nobody want to go nowhere. They want you to come to their house with your mask on, prep it. or just prep it and bring it to them. So that's what like helped a lot too. Yeah, we gonna figure it out. I have a very large network, family, friends who are in the entertainment industry, you know, and just who know a lot of people, politics and different things like that. So I just felt like, oh, I'm going home. In Michigan, I knew absolutely nobody. Like I
Mm-hmm.
started that all on my own by myself, created it. So I was like, if I go home, oh, it's really going to be easy. Not.
Mm. I love this segue because I think when I work with, so I met, to give people context, I met you because I was a mentor at a program, remember?
Mhm.
At
Mhm.
a business accelerator. And I didn't get to work with you, but I was during the presentation and I was like, we need to talk. And
Yes.
so I often talk to business owners, and what I always tell them is your first clients are friends and family. However, something that I notice is that many times people are like, "Well, I don't have any." And so, what would you say? Because I mean, you started a business in a place where you didn't know anyone, and then you came back
Yeah.
home where your family, your friends, your community, your network, your ecosystem was here. And so, how do you continue to build those relationships even when afar, and how did you do it when you didn't have them?
You know what I always tell people? Don't count on that. Don't count on your family being your first.
Yeah. Yeah, friends and family are not always like real family.
Count on your strangers, the people that you don't know. Um, Strangers, people that you don't know, don't because you'll get your feelings hurt. Depending on your family, like they're gonna want a deal, they want to get it
Oh, the
free. Um,
deal.
yes, they'll go spend all the money somewhere else and then come to you. I don't know what's going on, and then come to you and they want a deal or they want it free. I had a friend who would walk in my store and just grab stuff and walk out. Yeah, I sent her a
No.
bill. Like, yeah, you know those records, those candles, they cost. And then we'll post on social media that she's supporting and purchasing all these things from other people. And I had to tell her, like, why you take from me and don't post it, but you buy from somebody else and post it.
Wow.
So yeah, it's like a subconscious thing. I think with when you're dealing with family and friends, I always tell people if they don't have the same goals or the same mind frame as you. If they like, I think I'm amazing and great. So anybody that
Mhm.
comes across my path, I think you're amazing and great too. Because you wouldn't be able to stand next to me. You wouldn't be able to be around me. I wouldn't even
Mm.
allow it. So I think that if a lot of people don't feel that way about themselves, and when you open up your energy to everybody and you let people get next to you who don't have the same goals, don't have the same, they can't see that in you. You become nothing. You become how they feel about themselves.
Yep.
So that's the thing when it comes to like the family and friends, where I tell people to really don't get too caught up in that. Be optimistic. Know that it's a million people in the world that thinks like you. There's trillion, gazillion people all over the planet. You know what I'm saying? Just go for it.
Mhm.
If you feel it in your heart, do it. Um, that's what I always tell people. Like I always follow that. Like it's not going to lead you wrong. You know what's right for you.
Totally.
It's for you.
It's
You'll
already
feel
yours.
it. Yeah.
Totally. And I think also, so the friends and family aren't always true friends and family. To your
Exactly.
point, is kind of like the expression, but it's like people that you may have worked with, or like old coworkers or
Hmm.
prior clients for a different thing. And 100%, I mean, there's even, I've talked to people that have gotten mockery of family members who are like, yeah, your little
Definitely.
business, like, and so I think there, it's kind of like there's two sides or many of this equation of the friends and family conversation.
Hmm.
And I agree, it's more like it's less of expecting them to support you and more of putting yourself out there and allowing friends and family to come, whoever that is. You know, the title
Exactly.
is irrelevant. It's just like trusting that the people will come.
Yes.
And sometimes that ecosystem is unexpected. For me, and I don't know if this happened to you, for me, I when I started my business, I lost all my friends, literally.
Yeah.
Like,
That's how I was in Michigan. I had a core of friends, and yeah, when I started talking about changing the community, and they were looking at me like, "Girl, you don't get out of here."
You're not even from here.
Yeah, so I definitely understand.
I recently did an episode about building your squad. And so I think we need to be conscious and aware and have the understanding that people are part of our lives in chapters. And when you're starting something fun and exciting for you, it may not be fun and exciting for them. And you don't need to expect them to support you. It might just be time
Right.
for them to be a different chapter in your life. And that's it.
Yeah, I definitely believe that. But don't get me wrong, like my first event that I did, and I wasn't even living here yet. I just came to do an event. So I did these naked sushi and body art exhibits. I have one Saturday in San Diego.
I know.
So like everybody showed up and showed out. Like that was, but I hadn't been here in 10 years. I came to an event, it was like, so that gave me life too. I was like, oh yeah, I'm moving back home. It's going to be,
Mm.
But then when I moved back home, I didn't get that same, because it's like, girl, you here? Like, we'll catch the next one.
Right.
Maybe, oh, we're busy. You know what I'm saying? So that's when I had to learn the hard way. Like, be appreciative of the people who do show up, and when they do, and when they don't get mad. Like, everybody has a life.
Everybody has a life.
Everybody has stuff going on, so don't ever get offended. I was the offend queen. Oh, you ain't coming to my stuff. Yeah, I used to get very upset.
Well, we live and we learn. So let's take a quick coffee break.
Sabrosura pa' ti que que.
Chef Key, do you drink coffee?
I do not drink coffee. I drink White Claws. I don't have
Oh.
one. No, I have a very sensitive system
System?
for caffeine. Yeah.
Mm.
I did drink some the other day, like 2 sips.
And it like threw you
Yeah.
off. Do you have a morning beverage?
Yes. Celery juice.
Mm. Every day.
Every day. I've been in my mom's the last couple of days, and I'm moving, so these last couple of weeks have been crazy, but normally, yes, every day I'll drink some celery juice. The cell regenerator.
Nice.
Love it.
Well, I am drinking coffee on my end. So I'll drink another cup for you.
Right.
Let's quickly get back to the show. So tell us about the various things. You're back in California. You are, I mean, of course, Phat Vgan is the business, but tell me about the naked sushi, the boat trips, the infused food, all the things.
Yes. So naked sushi and body art was something that I started in Michigan. I was just looking at cool things to do with food, and then I started looking into cultures, because Phat Vegan basically is everybody's street food. So
Mm,
it's like all different cultures, like junk food, street food, but made vegan, because that's what I love.
nice.
I don't want no quinoa bowl. I don't want no salad. I mean, I love salads, but I don't want, just spinach and stuff like that. I want a burger, tacos, nachos, a cochina, all
Yeah.
those different things. I started that, and I was like, what would be something for the culture that would be like really interesting? And I was like, the naked sushi, which is the art of Naote Mori, started when their soldiers would go to war. After they would come back from fighting their wars, that was like the highest form of appreciation. So I was like, bet, we fight wars every day living on this
Mm,
planet. You know what I'm saying? Whether you're, black, white, whatever, like there's, we fighting wars. So how can I present this as the highest form of appreciation? So I would get, I don't want to say minority, because we're definitely not the minorities, but I would get culturally different people to do the event. So it was like, people thinking, oh, naked sushi, I'm going to come see Asian people, Asian model. No, I'm going to have a black model, may have a Latino model, different things like that. And then the comedy just kind of got thrown in there, because a lot of my clients are comedians and rappers. And I was like, how
nice.
can we make it to, I'm always thinking of ways for everybody to collaborate,
Yeah.
together. So I was like, naked sushi and comedy, like nobody's doing that. And then I just ran with it. So that's how I started the naked sushi. Two dope chefs dining experience. I had actually went to Cannabis College in, where did we go? Where was it? In Orlando. Learn Sativa University. Um, Definitely went there because I was already like just doing like my own little cannabis infused brunches, um, where I would just like, oh, come over to the house and we having a brunch and it's infused and
Nice.
buy a ticket. So I had started doing it like that on my own, and then remember I was telling you the story about when I got the award from the city
Right.
and the mayor. With the other company, the Menagerie Kitchen, one of their owners, April Forbes, um, we got close as friends, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I've been wanting to do this infused dining experiences. Like, you're a pastry chef, I'm savory. Like, we should do it." And she was like, "Let's do it." And
Nice.
literally got a date. Like that was like a month. Set a date. Did a big sent the email out to like everybody, and the news hit us up. They were like, "Can you guys be on the news?" We were in the front page of the paper, and it was a big thing because we were the first people to do infused dining in Michigan. So
Wow.
it was one of those ideas like, we got to do it. We got to do it. I started with another one of my friends, um, past, no longer friend, but I started with her, and it just wasn't easy. It didn't flow.
Mm.
Everything was the problem. It was like, no. And then when I got with this friend, it was about her business, we took off right away.
Mm-hmm.
So that was Two Dope Chefs. And then I just brought it back to California this year. So that's Two Dope Chefs. So excursions,
Mm-hmm.
the boat rentals and tours. So that I grew up on the boat. My dad was really into like boats, jet skis. We went camping. We had Baja bugs, motorcycles. Like, we were the kids they were mad at on the street. Okay, because we had all the toys and made all the noise. So just growing up like that. When I got older, me and my ex boyfriend, we had got a pontoon boat. We lived on the lake. When we moved off the lake, we had to store the boat. It was like so many things to it. I'm like, okay, I ended up finding a company which is similar to like a timeshare,
Mm-hmm.
but with boats, and I end up connecting, collaborating with them, getting my licensing and certifications through them, and started Soul Excursions.
Nice. So, what does your day to day look like? Is it different depending on what's happening?
It's definitely different depending on what's happening. Sometimes I take 2, 3 days and I don't do absolutely anything because my brain is like just fried,
Yeah.
and I'm probably just like on the computer all day. I probably get up about 6 in the morning, straight
Yeah.
to the computer. Yeah, straight to emails, straight to what's going on today. I'll spend a couple hours doing that, and then working on website stuff, contacting employees, trying to find more work, more events. But yeah, that's like my day to day. For the most part, I'm on the computer or like running around to meetings and different things like that. Especially now opening the new location in San Diego.
When is that?
That's Phat Vgan Cider Bar. I have the event that I have Saturday will be there, like the first part of the event. But I'm gonna do like an opening, and it's a collaboration with Cielo Rooftop, which is downtown San Diego.
Okay.
Yes, it's a collaboration with them. I think I'll be doing Thursdays and Sundays. So that we're still working out the logistics because I don't want to go full force
Okay.
starting, but it will be soon within the next month.
What would you say to kind of like close because we're running out of time, but what would you say to people? Because I think in the Latino community, at least, I think it's shifting. And I don't know if it happens as much in the Black community. And
Mm,
maybe it's shifted. But something, it's like the crab type of mentality that I feel like my generation perhaps has been like fighting. Our generation has been just like fighting against it.
yes.
And I think, I mean, looking at it from the lens of history, I mean, our people were often the firsts. And so when you're the first, they want to keep that title type thing.
Hmm.
And I think we're getting to that place where like all the first have kind of been taken. I mean, in Latinos, we're still kind of behind there, but it's we're understanding that it's less of getting to the end the fastest and more about getting to the end with your people. And so, what would you say to the people that are still like, because you collaborate a lot, and I love that. And so, to those who still feel like, ooh, I don't know, because they might like take your thing or whatever the scarcity mindset might be, what would you say to them?
You know what? Again, there's that gut feeling in your heart. I mean, and then also, everybody is here to teach us lessons and to learn. Don't be scared of learning a lesson from somebody. That's going to be my main thing. Don't be scared
Mm.
of learning a lesson from somebody. You know, you might have to check your emotions and your if you like to get physical with people, that's another thing. But um, don't be scared to learn a lesson because you grow from that. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and you grow and you learn, and then you find your team. You know what I'm saying? And you find out who you are. Sometimes you can't attract the right people. You can't attract the right team. You know, you have to go through those things because you may be the problem. You know, so those are things you
Yes.
got to figure out, you know, within yourself. So I would say, don't be scared to learn the lesson. Keep going. Find your team. You'll get that feeling. You'll feel it in your gut. You'll feel it in your heart. And when it's time to let them go, don't be sad to let them go.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Chapters. People are chapters.
Yes.
Chef Key, so tell us what's next. So you're opening this location in San Diego. This episode is not going to release. It's going to release later after Naked Sushi in San Diego. So we can talk about it, but it's going to be too
Right.
late. So what's next that we can look forward to?
September 15th, I have a Two Dope Chefs infused dining experience.
Okay.
I got some really dope comedians. I got Paris. I don't know if you guys know about Paris, but she's a great friend of mine. She was in White Man Can't Jump, and she's in a lot of movies. Like, that's
Nice.
just like one to name. And she's a comedian, and she does a lot of stuff, but she's always there. Britt Taylor, I'm always bringing the vibes. He's a comedian as well. And we got Tasia Kerr, amazing singer. She was the first Black and Hawaiian spokeswoman for Sephora.
Wow.
Yeah, so she's a big deal. She's an amazing artist. So that's coming up on the 15th. I'm going to bring some food, some jokes, and some good music, raffles, games. That's going to be in Los Angeles. And then I have on the 22nd of September, I have an infused dinner with Philip Humphreys, who is my co-owner of Phat Vgan Spider Bar, and also the executive chef for Coco Maya Louisiana Purchase. We have a dinner on the 22nd, which is going to be the same vibe as well. Some music, some entertainment, about 7-course menu.
Love
Yeah.
that. And everything's vegan?
So no, the infused dinners, I do the vegan stuff and then I let them do meat stuff. But that's more Chef Key
Okay.
Locke and not Phat Vgan. Chef Key Locke cooks everything for everybody.
Okay. Okay.
But no, there'll be both vegan and non-vegan.
That's awesome.
The sushi is completely vegan.
Okay. So tell us all the places and spaces where we can find you.
You can find me at Chef Key Locke, Locke with an E. So that's ChefKeyLokke. You can catch me at Phat Vgan, PhatVgan. There is no E because it takes everybody to make the E, and we are not there yet.
Yes.
So we got that. We got Soul Excursions. That's SOL Excursions. SOL Excursions. And then we got Two Dope. Yes, and then we got at Two Dope Chefs, which is the number 2 dope and chefs with a Z underscore. Yeah,
Lovely.
check me out on all those networks: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all the above.
Amazing.
Oh, one more. And for anything you want to know, just head on over to phatvgan.com. PHATVGAN.com, and we have everything from the boat rentals, the Two Dope Chefs events. You can book, you can buy spices, apparel,
Mm-hmm.
everything. And my book.
And your book. I love it. And is this California based? Does it matter where people are?
It does not matter where you are. I do have some things coming up in Michigan in October. So I do travel. I'm also will be opening Phat Vgan Spider Bar in Atlanta.
Wow.
We're working on it. That's a big thing. The big comedian I worked for. I got to keep that under wraps. But yeah, we're that's coming soon too. I say in the next 6 months.
That's
I'll be ready to
exciting.
make an announcement. Yeah. So everywhere, wherever you are, I'll come to you.
I love it.
Thank
Well,
you.
Chef Keith, thank you so much for coming to Cafe con Pam.
Thank you for having me.
Bueno, listeners, that was my conversation with Chef Key. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're inspired, you're motivated, you have this idea. Find your squad. Listen to last episode or a couple of episodes ago and figure out who your squad is so that your idea can be supported and you feel you can stand in your power, grounded, rooted with a strong foundation. If this is your first time here, welcome to Café con Pam. Thank you for tuning in. If you are listening to the podcast, make sure you follow or subscribe, depending on the platform that you're using. If you are on YouTube, make sure you follow, you hit the bell so you can get notifications when new episodes drop, and drop a comment to let other people know about this episode. Also, drop a comment letting us know what you think about this. People on the YouTube, apparently, you're very vocal. So keep sending those comments. I appreciate them. And I feel like almost it's a good way for people to actually tell us your thoughts as they are coming in the episode, something that I've realized podcasting doesn't quite allow, but I know Spotify is working on that. And so, or if they haven't already, I think they've released it where you can drop comments on the episodes if you listen on Spotify. I don't know. Let me know. Drop a comment if you can. Bueno, listeners, thank you so much for being here. I would love to stay connected at Cafe Con Pam Podcast on Instagram, Facebook, and all the places. CafeConPam.com if you want to keep learning more about the work that I do and all the various stories that I share. And before I close, I do want to hear from you. So I was talking to one of my clients yesterday, and and she mentioned to me that her sister has been wanting to work with me. But there's different priorities that exist. And so one-on-one coaching with me is not within the budget. Not that she asked for a discount, like that's not at all what happened. However, what I realized or what I got from this conversation is that maybe I could offer an alternative for people that are like, I'm not sure if I want to perhaps do the full investment. And so, what I'm going to open up is live coaching spots. You come to Cafe Con Pam and we record your coaching session. So, everything is with consent and understanding that this session is going to be recorded and released. And you basically give us permission to share the session, and I don't charge you. I might charge a fee later for this. I just don't, it's not in my heart to do it, but I want to test it out. So if you are interested, basically, you'll be on a coaching call with me and we're going to release it as an episode. And it would probably be 30 to 45 minutes. Again, it's a test. I'm going to open it up. There's going to be a form to apply. Also, if you want me to answer a question, and perhaps you're like, I don't know if I'm ready for a full coaching session and have it be recorded, the same form will ask you to drop your question and I can answer it on the show. So for listener questions, I might just wait for a couple of them to accumulate so I can answer them in one episode, or bring one person and do some like super fun live coaching. And so if you're new and you're like, what is she talking about? I am a certified life coach. I am a certified clinical EFT practitioner. I am a matrix reimprinting practitioner. I have studied graphology, like so many things. And the work that I do is rooted in Internia healing. And all of this, my body of work has evolved and grown over time. This is not what I've done forever. This is something that it's my current body of work because of my experience that I've received up until today. And we often work through the 5 principles that keep us quiet, the 5 principles of calladita culture. And these principles keep us underpaid, overworked, overwhelmed, and quiet. And so, with my one on one clients, the work that I do is we go back into our subconscious mind and actually support that inner niña who has experienced things that now show up as adults in ways that maybe we people please, maybe we put everyone first, maybe we stay quiet and we don't have our voice, various things. Literally, it's amazing. It's something that I am really honored that I get to do this with incredible humans, and I'm always looking for ways to share this. And so when I was talking to my client about this yesterday, I asked her what would happen? Like, what do you think about me doing a live interview and posting it? And she was like, you know what? If it's going to be free, I'm sure people will take it. Or listener questions would be maybe something that's a little bit softer. We'll see what happens. So I'm going to drop the form right below in the episode notes. And if you feel called to drop me a question, if you want to know more about Inner Niña work, if you want to know what do you need to do by yourself, what are some exercises that can help you get started with that connection with that Inner Niña that you have within you, that inner child that you carry no matter what. And she will always live within you, or they will always live within you, or he would always live within you. Let me know. Happy to answer your questions. I'm delighted to do so, actually. Y en español, obviamente, también. Si tienes preguntas en español, si se te hace más fácil hacerlo en español, un placer contestarlo en español. Maybe we'll do more conversaciones en español. Y también, bueno, puedes explicarte lo que es el trabajo de tu niño, tu niña, tu niña interior y cómo puede eso ayudarte a que en el presente te conviertes en alguien que es la verdadera parte de ti, no la parte que necesita amor, que es tu niño o tu niña interior. So, a little bit of a longer outro this time, but I think it's been a while since I've done this. But let me know. Drop your comments. If you don't follow us on YouTube, do that. It's super fun. There's also another thing that I want to clarify, which I've talked to a couple of people that listen to the podcast and they're like, wait, you interviewed this person and you've talked to this person? I have several YouTube exclusive interviews. And so the reason why you want to subscribe on YouTube is because not all of the interviews that I do make it to the podcast. Okay, so come over to the video side, watch some videos and some super fun interviews we've done with people that have not made it to the show. This is why I say now, even though this was episode 375, I say that we have 400 interviews and episodes because there's various places. Also, the pour over who has on the website at cafeconpab.com. Those are written interviews. So we definitely have talked to over 400 people. But who's counting? I'm just so happy to be here still. Y bueno, ahora sí, como siempre, stay shining.
Sabrosura pa' ti que